What was it like to be a pioneer in genetic counseling? I guess it's like being a pioneer in anything. Nobody knows where you're trying to go. They sometimes don't know how to help you and don't know what you're going to do with that. But somehow in my head, I just knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in clinic and work with patients on the side of genetics that explained it, not from a laboratory standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. Bruce Eberhardt, who was chairman of the biology department at that time, introduced me to Laura Anderton, who had been in administration at UNCG and had gone back to teaching, and she became my major advisor in graduate school. And she was flexible enough to take me on and let me do something that they had never done before, and let me tailor. I had to plan my own program, of course, because there wasn't a genetic counseling degree at that time there. So she let me plan what I needed to do. But there, I don't know if some other place would have had a Bruce Eberhardt or a Laura Anderton to be willing to work with me on doing something that was totally far afield from anything they had done before. So I owe all of that to UNCG. I think one of the biggest roles we play probably is being a liaison between the scientific world, the medical laboratory world, and the everyday world. So the liaison, at least to me, that's the role we play. It's building a rapport with that patient. You got to take real thorough family histories, and some people don't want to talk to you about that unless they think you're okay. You're equal with them and on a level that it's all right to talk to you about Great Aunt Susie, who had a little weird personality or had this awful disease she never wanted to talk about and couldn't get her to tell you, but they'll finally talk to you about it. My first job, I worked for them once I'd done some schooling there, that clinical part of my schooling. I worked for them in the pediatric department for nothing till I could prove to them they couldn't live without me. And finally they put me on the payroll. So there just weren't positions in those days. You made your job, so to speak. I don't know that everybody's aware that UNCG now has a program, a graduate program in genetic counseling. You can get a degree there in genetic counseling. It is the only program of that kind in North Carolina. If you're interested in science and like people, and maybe science you always thought of either being in the medical field in a clinic, being an MD, or being in a laboratory as a PhD or a lab tech, this is something that sort of marries all that together and is a nice, maybe a venture that you hadn't thought of before. So I encourage you to think about genetic counseling as a career.